There is a group on Facebook I found called the Dull Men's Club, and it is filled with a lot of people who celebrate the ordinary. And there's a Dull Women's Club as well, and it turns out both of them are populated pretty equally by both genders. It's not really a sexism thing. It's a celebration of the ordinary. And that got me to thinking about how life gets complicated when we feel like we have to put on a show for somebody. Because the truth is, there's basic, simple things that we enjoy that give our lives a sense of interestingness. And those aren't complicated things. They aren't extremely complex usually. They're just everyday small things that are meaningful to us. And the more we go through adult life, we start to feel like we have to act like grown-ups. We gotta put away childish things. We gotta be serious. We've gotta make sure that we're appearing to be bold and assertive and purposeful in everything we do. We have to be always chasing something, always proving why what we're doing serves some particular end to help advance some sort of a cause. And the truth of the matter is, it's all really quite fake, because we really just want to enjoy our lives. And life is pretty simple if you just keep it real and genuine. That if you like something, you say it. If you don't like something, you say it. If something seems boring, you just ignore it or you move on. You just kind of do your thing, you know, and maybe you sit there on a park bench and you watch the squirrels going by, and is that a big important thing? Well, no, it's not. And I really don't care that it's not. I'm just going to enjoy my day however I wish to do so. And it doesn't make a difference to me if somebody thinks that that's important or they think that's stupid. Maybe what I like to do is play a game like the Elder Scrolls Online. I just log in, I hang around for a little bit, and I gather random things and I sell them on the market, and it's just a little thing. I enjoy doing it. A little bit of a quest here and there, or a little bit of exploring. And is it important? No. Is it extremely, high level? Is this what successful people do? I don't know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I enjoy it. It's interesting to me. But quite often we start to get into a rut where we feel like the things that are interesting to us, we're not allowed to do those things because those things are stupid. And after a while, it gets to the point where everything in life is stupid. Everything you want to do, everything that interests you in truth is stupid. Anything that involves curiosity or imagination or fun or just enjoying life for life's own sake is stupid. Anything in the territory of enjoying life's ordinary moments is stupid, because we're conditioned to believe ordinary isn't good enough. It needs to be something more. Well, something more might not really be what I want. Now, I'm not saying you don't take responsibility in your life. I'm just saying do things that you enjoy with your life, and enjoy the life that you have every single day. And if you have a good day every day of your life, in the end, that'll all stack up to mean you had a pretty good life. And it doesn't mean that you have to have done a whole lot of important and monumental tasks. It's easy to get into a vicious cycle of feeling like you have to impress people just because people act like they want to be impressed. And you have to do things other people want you to do just because you want to fit in, or you want to do what is expected of you. And so we start kind of being dishonest in a lot of ways, and our lives are not spent just speaking the truth candidly, but rather our lives are spent thinking, well, what should I say? What is the right thing I should be doing with my life or with my time? What is the politically correct thing that I should do in this moment to make sure that I protect my status and I protect my image and I do things that other people are going to smile upon? And after a while, when you start to realize your entire life is built on this sort of a continual cycle of being super fake about everything, well, it's kind of like if you were an actor. If all you're ever doing is you're constantly acting. Well, acting could be nice. It could be. But if your entire life becomes an act, at some point, it stops being enjoyable, because you want your life to be authentic and real. And if it isn't, then what do you really have? So, I guess all I'm saying here is you should just let your life be true to itself, not true to other people. Just do what you enjoy in your life and just let it be that simple. It doesn't have to be more than that. And learning that can be pretty liberating. But it's harder than you might think to learn to just accept that you don't have to always be figuring out what's best. You don't always have to be min-maxing. You don't always have to be trying to prove yourself in some way. It's okay to just be. Let your life be simply enjoyable. And sometimes life requires us to do things that are difficult, and I'm not detracting from that. But sometimes I also think we make our lives harder than it needs to be, harder than we would need it to be if we just did what was necessary and listened to our own inner voice. Because usually you can tell, do you enjoy something? Does something seem fair? Does it seem true? Does it seem uplifting? Does it seem like it's doing good in your life? Or does it feel like it's kind of not? But you keep on playing the game. You keep on saying, well, I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm going to just continue to try to make sure that I play the game right. Well, it's like a game where you're trying so hard to be a good player that you forget that you're supposed to actually be enjoying the game. That it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. That's why I don't like competitive games. I really just have gotten tired of them. Because games like, say, Age of Empires or something like that, they're really fun in theory. But then people are going to go hardcore into it. And it's going to become this extremely stressful experience as people try to prove that they're better than everybody else. And competition sounds fun until you realize that you're playing a game, but it feels like a job. Or you're doing something that's supposed to be uplifting and fun, but the reality is it's actually stressful and frustrating. That's one reason why I like the Elder Scrolls Online, because I can just log in and do whatever I want, which quite possibly is nothing. Maybe I'm just going to explore the map and hang out. And I don't have any sense that I need to do something more to get to a particular finish line, because I just hang out in the game and it's pretty simple. I don't need to finish a certain number of quests to get to a point where I feel like I have access to the things I want to do in the game. I don't have a sense of the game isn't going to be satisfactorily finished if I don't do some certain things. And I find with a lot of other games, even good ones, you know, like Red Dead Redemption or Skyrim or any number of other ones, you know, traditional RPGs, you start thinking, well, I gotta finish this game. Even if you're not really feeling it, you start feeling, oh, I gotta finish it, you know. I gotta do more quests. I gotta get to the end so that I can be able to say that I finished the game. I'm not saying those aren't good games. I'm not saying I don't enjoy them in their right. But what I find I really enjoy is stuff where you can just putter around and enjoy yourself. And there isn't really any sense of being incomplete. It doesn't mean that there's not more to do. It doesn't mean that you couldn't do more. But you don't have that sense of, I need to finish this, and if I don't finish it, then I haven't done enough. I've talked about the problems that obsession can have, where people start to get really into a hobby, or they start to be enthusiasts about something, and then they become so aggressive about it, so fixated, that they begin to define their entire personality by that one thing. And that's not healthy, because life is supposed to be just enjoying a lot of little things, whatever it is that you're doing in the moment, and not feeling like you need to fill it up with one particular thing that is an end-all be-all. And I think that that ties in with this concept of appreciating the ordinary and celebrating the little, dull, mundane things that make life an experience worth having, ultimately. And I've thought about all the different things that maybe I wind up feeling a little bit indignant about and offended by in the character of other people. And it always comes back to that. You know, it's not that there's any one thing that's bad when it comes to human interests. I think most points of view have merit. I think most lifestyles have a certain validity to them. You know, it's not really that people are wrong. That's usually not the problem. The problem is people become unbalanced, and they start thinking that they're going to identify by one particular thing. You know, you're going to identify by your religion, or identify by your right-leaning politics or your left-leaning politics, or some sort of sexual orientation or gender identity thing, or you identify as a fan of one particular game, or you identify as a fan of one particular sports team, or whatever it is. You know, people are so tribal about what they want to identify with. Everyone wants to find one bucket and then say, I am a this, whatever this might be in that circumstance. And then people get obnoxious. And it doesn't really matter what it is. It could be people raging in a PC builders community saying, well, I am a pro Intel person, or I'm a pro AMD person, or I'm a pro NVIDIA, fanboy, whatever. Like, does it really matter? It doesn't matter what it is, whether you're one-sided on political topics or religious topics or gaming topics or career progression stuff. Like, anytime you become obsessed with something to where you can't see the forest through the trees, you're getting obsessed with one thing and then you're just defining your life by it, even though the truth is, if you were objective, you would know that life involves a lot of different things, a wide diversity of topics and thoughts and things that together, when you accept the entire conglomeration of all of them, equal diversity and all of the good things that we would aspire to in life. Any one component, if you have only that one thing and you put blinders onto everything else, it will become toxic. So, how do we combat all of this? What do we do? And I think it really comes down to, you've got to learn to see life as being complete in and of itself. You've got to learn to enjoy simple things, and don't feel like you have to put on a show. Don't feel like you have to pretend that you are what you are not. Don't feel like you have to do things just because that's what you're supposed to do. And when you start to be more authentic, then you just call a spade a spade. If something seems like it's a lie, you call it out as a lie. If it seems boring, then you move on and you don't give it your energy. If it seems evil, then you don't do it. If it seems unkind, then you just back off. And really, I think a lot of our lives are just unhappy because we live a lie. We pretend that life is more one-sided than it really is. We pretend that we are more important than we really are. We pretend that other people are more important than they really are. And the more we do this, the more we set ourselves up for that exhausting feeling of being an actor that can't get out of the show, where everything we do, whether we're successful or we're not successful, feels like it's fake. Because it doesn't really matter whether you acted your part really well if your entire life is fake. It's like the Truman Show. The story was, this guy is put into a bubble, fake little town. The entire existence of his life was really just a movie set, and people were watching him in a reality TV show. And the big voice up in the sky, the producer, said, if you are gonna head out and you don't stay inside here, the world out there is a dangerous place. But there was a point where this Truman, who's stuck inside there, he said, okay, enough is enough. I'm gonna get out of here. He had enough of it. And it wasn't that life was so bad as that it wasn't authentic. It wasn't real. It wasn't right. And life is pretty simple, but not if you make it complicated more than it needs to be. So don't be afraid to just let life be what it is. Do things you enjoy. Think about things you enjoy. Speak your mind freely. If somebody doesn't like it, then you know what? That's okay. It's not going to be the end of the world if somebody doesn't like something you have to say. Like it's okay. And I think we just have to learn to be comfortable with being authentic and to listen to our feelings. And if people don't think that they need to take us seriously because we speak our mind, or because we have hobbies that don't seem high profile or important enough or something like that, well, people who are so self-important that they expect that everything has to always be taken seriously, or they're totally full of themselves, those people, we really don't need them in our lives anyway. That's the truth. So put the enjoyment of your life first, put truth above all, and don't get lost in someone else's show, stuck continually playing a part that, if you're honest, you're tired of playing. Always try to be authentic, try to enjoy every single day. And remember, if you enjoy every day in a small way, then in the end, you will have had, at a minimum, a good life. As it's been said, life has loveliness to sell. So buy it and never count the cost. Till next time, good luck on your adventure. Always. Thanks for watching. Bye now.